10 Sports Avenue is here, somewhere out there. He's going to come forward and give us the invocation and then lead us in the pledge of the flag. So everyone please rise. Is Marcus Wayne? Thank you very much.
All right, let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for your never-ending love, grace, and mercy for us. I pray for Mayor Bacon and all the leaders of our great city of Smyrna. With expectancy and boldness, I lift up these authorities whom you have put into place. I thank you for their sacrifice and time they give to this community. Because of the efforts of these leaders, the citizens of this community are able to live peaceful and quiet lives, and for this we give thanks. Lord, help these leaders to remember that you are their source of strength and wisdom, and when it seems that answers are nowhere to be found, you are there for them. Help these officials remember their ultimate accountability to you for tasks they perform and decisions they make. Dear God, help these leaders resist pressures that would lead them away from their good moral conscience. Lord, give each man and woman courage to always do what is right. In these tough economic times, give them wisdom to manage and vision to rise above the obvious fray. Father, may these appointed officials remember to keep honor, respect, honesty, and trust in place with the positions they each hold. May each person here be great examples of good character and moral integrity to the people of Smyrna, Georgia, who are placing their trust in these elected leaders. Heavenly Father, give each of these leaders the mind of Christ. Help them not to grasp power in unhealthy or ungodly ways, but rather help them to empty themselves and embrace the true nature of a servant. Keep each one humble and in tune with you, Lord. May you bless each family and marriage that is represented here. Father, grant your mercy and grace to these community leaders. Help them to pursue peace, solutions to social injustice, and personal morality. And God, please bless the good people of Smyrna, Georgia. Thank you that we can ask these things with confidence and assurance that you are the ultimate leader and that you are in control. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The judgment that allows police to murder people without accountability and put it on their hearts for these folks.
Thank you very much for giving an invocation.
To give justice to the Nicholas Thomas.
Cumberland Community Church is located at 3110 Sports Avenue.
Conviction that is necessary for black folks to get justice in this country that has so been long sought. And bless the angelic troublemakers that put their lives on the line.
Okay, we're going to stick to this agenda.
No one else will. And we thank you in advance for what you're going to do to liberate oppressed people. And we don't want peace without justice, even in Smyrna. There will be no peace without justice.
We don't have any agenda changes under the mayor's report. I think we got some folks that may be running for public office. If you are running for public office and you want to make any kind of comment, you can do that at this time. Come up to the podium and just tell us what you're running for. And come right up here and tell us who you are, what you're running for, and when's the election, and go from there. We're glad you're here.
Thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity to speak, and City Council people, I appreciate it as well. My name is Chuck Bachman. I'm a candidate for a Superior Court seat being vacated by Honorable Adele Grubbs. Judge Grubbs is retiring, and I'm in the election to take her seat. I'm a 37-year Cobb County resident. I've been practicing law for 17 years. I've been married for 18 years, and for the first 3 years of our marriage, we lived just down the street here, and we're members of Smyrna First United Methodist Church. I'm the proud parent of 2 great kids. I've got a daughter who's turning 13 in 2 days, so we'll see how that goes. And I've got a son who's 9 years old and in 3rd grade. We currently live up in the city of Marietta, where I practice with the law firm of Gregory Doyle, Calhoun, and Rogers. I do business litigation, and I have been practicing here for a long time. Having lived in this county for so long, I understand that most people live here for 2 reasons. It's because the county is considered safe and business friendly. And if you put me on the Superior Court bench, I will do what I can to make sure that this county remains that way. that criminal action in this county have consequences, and that litigation that needs to be thrown out of court because it's frivolous gets thrown out. I'm very proud to say I've been endorsed by the State Attorney General Sam Olens and by the Cobb County Solicitor General Barry Morgan. The election is May 24th. Early voting starts May 2nd, and I would very much appreciate everybody's vote. Again, my name is Chuck Bachman, and our website is bachmanforjudge.com, BACHMAN. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Anyone else running for office? Anyone else running for public office like to make any comment? Okay. That's all we have. We'll get into...
Mr. Bacon, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
I would like to run for mayor. My name is Felicia Thomas, the mother of Nicholas Thomas, who Kenneth Owens shot and killed at the Goodyear store. I understand you've been in office how many years, sir?
This is not a question and answer period. This
Sir,
is for
how many
candidates.
years have you been in
This is for
office?
candidates that are running for office. I
I'm
give
running
them
for
opportunity.
office. I'm going to run for office.
Well, this current election is coming up.
Right, and I understand that. How many years have you been in office?
It doesn't matter how long I've been.
Yes, how many years have you been in office? It's time for change. It's time for change.
We're going to stay to the agenda.
Is it time for change? I can't hear you guys. Is it time for change? We want to vote you out of office. Because how can you promote a police officer who killed somebody within a year with a record of domestic violence?
We're going to move into the
We want
portion
to
of the
veto
agenda.
you out of office, sir. Hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but what I'm telling you is we're going to stay to our agenda.
Our
like we
agenda
have.
is to vote you out.
But then
Who wants to vote him out?
You have that
Terry,
right
you want to vote him out? Heather, you want to vote him out? How about you, Terry, back there?
We're going to move into our regular portion. of
No,
the
it's
agenda.
no regular portion. No business as usual.
You're not mayor yet.
No business as usual. We will vote you out. We're going to keep coming back to Smyrna, baby. Smyrna is not the same. Like the lady said, Smyrna will never be the same. You killed my child. You killed my child. The blood is in your seat right now. In that red seat you're sitting in, you killed my child.
We're going to
You
move into the
killed
regular portion
my
of our
child,
agenda.
sir. You hear me? And then you're going to promote Kenneth Owens, a domestic violence person?
Okay, we need to move on into
No,
the
no,
regular
we not
portion of the
moving to
agenda.
nothing.
You need to have a seat.
No,
We
you need
move
to
on
have a
with the
seat,
regular
sir.
portion of the agenda.
No. Who wants to vote him out? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Who wants to vote him out? Come on, Terry. You want to vote him out? Who wants to vote him out? What about your mother? How does your mother feel being black, sir? How does your mother feel? Moms demand justice. Moms demands justice. We're not going to sit down. We want Kenneth Owens' resignation, and then we'll sit down. We will sit down once that police officer is gone. Do you hear me? Mayor Bacon?
We're going to move into the regular portion of the agenda.
Mr. Bacon, do you hear me?
You need to have a seat.
No, I'm
now.
not going to have a seat. I'm never going to have a seat. Okay? This is not the plantation. You don't tell me to have a seat.
Well, we've got a regular meeting that
No,
we're...
this is the meeting. We have the agenda. Miss Newton, where are you? What's the agenda? Where's Miss Newton?
we're going to have to get some kind of order. So we
Miss
need-
Newton? She's running for mayor also.
Came in and we made our demands the last
That's
time.
right.
That Owens is resigned, that he resigns, that he is put on desk duty, that you do an investigation. Just look at the facts.
That's right. Our children matter. How many children do you have? How many grandchildren do you
We're going to move
have?
on with the regular portion of the
How
agenda.
do you feel
Well,
if your children and your granddaughter was killed and murdered in the street? How do you feel? Shame on you, Mr. Mayor. Shame on you, Mr. Mayor. Shame on you, Mr. Mayor. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you, Mr. Mayor. Shame on you.
All right, we need to move on. We need to have these...
No, it's not going to be made. No. No.
We have other business to take care of.
No, we have no business. No business usual. No business usual.
I need to move on. move them out.
You want to call for a recess? Out, we're ready to
All right, we're gonna call for a recess. We'll step out.
turn the other one. That one up there.
This one.
Heather, Terry.
I need a motion to reconvene. Is that correct, Mr. Cochran? Oh. Okay, I need a motion to reconvene. Motion by Ms. Noah, seconded by Mr. Stoner. All those in favor of the motion, please vote. You want to see a show of hands? We're good. We got a hand motion. Okay. I got my glasses. It's great. Okay, we are into the land issue zoning and annexation. Item A is public hearing, zoning request, annexation, Z15-012, rezoning and zoning amendment for the construction of 200-unit independent senior housing, 4.8 acre tract, land lot 691, 4840 and 4788 Hanson Drive, Creekside Village Development. I think, Mr. Rusty, have you got that ready for us to?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is zoning amendment, rezoning and zoning amendment Z15012. This was heard by the Planning and Zoning Commission on February 8th. They made a recommendation for approval by a vote of 7-0. You guys will make the final action on it tonight. This property is located off of Hanson Drive and South Cobb Drive. It's approximately 4.8 acres in size, and it's located in Ward 7. Right now, there's one single-family development on the property, and the rest of the site is vacant. This request particularly involves 3 processes. There's a piece of property that's requesting to be annexed. It's a quarter-acre property. It's the piece that's highlighted on the north end of the property. That property will also have to be rezoned from R20 in Cobb County to mixed-use conditional in Smyrna. And then in addition, with adding that property to the overall property, they are requesting to modify the use of the property, the building plan, and the building elevations. I'll discuss those further as we move through the process. But the majority of the property is zoned MU, and then it is surrounded by unincorporated Cobb County with multifamily housing and industrial uses. The proposed future land use for the development will be urban residential, and that will not change with this request. Back in 2008, the mayor and council approved the overall development plan for this property by a vote of 5-2. Later in 2013, we approved a zoning amendment to modify the building elevations and site plan for phase 1. Phase 1 of that original plan included basically an assisted living facility with memory care. It consisted of a 2-story building with 69 assisted living beds and 39 memory care beds. Phase 2 was a mixed-use building. It included a 4-story building over underground parking with 120 independent senior housing units and 70,000 square feet of retail. And we'll go through the proposed changes to the new plan for phase 2. These were the elevations that were approved back in 2008. You can see the first floor was commercial retail, and the second and fourth floors were the residential units. Moving on to today's request, here's the proposed site plan. As you can see, it's a little bit different building configuration, but it's got the same intent that was originally approved. Some of the changes include increasing the building height from 2 stories to 10 stories, increase the senior unit count from 120 units to 200 units, the elimination of the 70,000 square feet of retail and commercial space, and then they reconfigured the building and the site plan to accommodate all that. There are some site constraints and environmental issues on site, and we'll go through those. This red area highlights an underground gas easement that runs through the site from South Cobb to the rear of the property. There is also a location of an existing stream that's highlighted in blue for you. And then the green highlights the 50-foot undisturbed buffer. So you can see the buildable area for the site is relatively limited. And then here's some areas that require some variances from our city's stream buffer with regards to impervious surface area setback. The applicant is shown on their site plan that they're going to be able to mitigate these impacts by recompensing additional area elsewhere along that stream. These are the new proposed building elevations. They have a nice atria and lobby area on the first floor at the front of the building, and then the 10-story building. On the bottom pictures, you can see the 2-story underground parking deck and facility. On the picture on the top, that's a mezzanine area up the top that'll have dining and some other common space uses. The applicant submitted plans showing what this would look like from East-West Connector and South Cobb Drive. They imposed the building onto these pictures, give you some scale. And this is what the property looks like today. There's a single-family home, and the rest of the site is being used for construction purposes. And these are pictures of adjacent properties. You got the Pioneer Concrete to the north, Ruby Collins and Landscape Company to the west. You got phase 1 assisted living to the south, and then some commercial office buildings across South Cobb Drive. Community Development recommends approval of the proposed zoning with the following conditions carried over from the rezoning in 2013, which was the last zoning amendment. I won't read all these standard conditions, but they deal with the composition of the buildings, protective covenants, required open space, screening of the detention facilities, underground utilities, traffic improvements, installation of decel lanes, entranceway decorations, development of streets, burying of debris on site, and compliance with the tree ordinance. And then we have the list of special conditions. As I said, these are all carried over from the 2013 zoning case with slight modifications to adjust for the changes in the plan. I've highlighted these changes in red so you can see them. So stipulation number 15 is just to read as a 10-story independent senior living facility, and the minimum setbacks all remain the same from 2013. We eliminated stipulation number 20 and struck it because They have provided public access to water and sewer through South Cobb Drive. The private easement is no longer needed, so this stipulation is no longer needed. Number 24 has been removed. These are all going to be rental units, so to have a stipulation that caps the rental units at 20% is not required. 26, just adjust the zoning condition that requires substantial compliance with the site plan submitted to the dates that the applicant submitted their site plans. And number 27 ties the applicant to the elevation submitted with the rezoning request, and it highlights the date that those plans were submitted for record keeping. And finally, since we eliminated the retail and commercial uses, staff thought it would be prudent to remove the prohibited uses on the subject property, since all the common space and the accessory uses will all be internal to the development, and they'll be operated by the owner. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
This is a public hearing, and we do the zoning request first, and then we do the annexation, and then we do the final vote on the zoning.
Yes, sir.
So I need to ask if there's anyone here that would like to make any public comment, or say you're in opposition to this rezoning or the annexation, or is in favor of this zoning or annexation request. Okay, that's the record show there is none. Are there any questions? Mr. Fennell, this is in Mr. Fennell's district. He is not here tonight. He's had a business conflict. So are there any questions from the council?
I had a couple of questions. Well, really, I just wanted to clarify what kind of product this is. I mean, obviously you have assisted living there that's coming online right now. This is independent living, which I'm guessing is...
These guys need to be sworn in. Yep.
Yeah, I was there.
Anybody else going to give testimony? Okay.
So these are independent, fully functional units. These aren't folks who have, a nurse coming in from time to time. This is true independent senior living?
True independent, yes.
Need to tell us, just identify yourself.
Jason Lewis, the developer and local resident at 4030 Pine Ridge Road, Southeast, Smyrna.
And I don't think we have anything like this in Smyrna right now. And I know I'm asked regularly by constituents who either want to age in place or they'd like their parents to move nearby if we have any independent living 55-plus communities. And I don't think we have anything quite like this.
The closest comparison would be something like Smyrna Towers, but it's not a comparison at all.
Right, okay.
It's more in the housing of the intended independent is what Smyrna Towers is.
Is this going to be resort style? They'll have amenities, activity directors, things like that?
Yes, it is. We're really excited about the fact that Provident Resource Group out of Baton Rouge will be the long-term owner and operator.
Okay.
And that's the level of finish and services that they provide in all their projects.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just have one question. Is this going to be like three phases like Presbyterian Villages or whatever, so that you do have the various stages?
The intent is to be an age in place. So we have the 55 and up tower in the second phase. It will be connected in proximity to the assisted living that's being completed now. And that phase will be opened up in the next 3 weeks. So from our standpoint, the age in place is 3 phases because the first phase, as confusing as that sounds, the assisted living portion has a memory care portion within it. So you have your 55 and up independent that we're here to discuss tonight. And then in the continuation of care in the Creekside assisted living, you have both memory care and regular assisted living.
Well, we're very glad to have you. I think it's
Thrilled
a
to be
nice
here.
addition to the city.
That's great.
Thank you.
Any questions? Any other questions? Okay. That closes the public hearing portion of that portion. B is the approval of ordinance 2016-04 annexation request. 100% of owners requesting annexation. Land lot 691, 17th District, second section. Cobb County, 0.60 acre tract, 4788 Hanson Drive, Smyrna, Georgia, Ward 7. Effective date will be April the 1st, 2016. I'm going to ask that Mr. Doug Stoner, we've already asked for public hearing on that. I'll ask him to make the motion to approve the annexation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This time, I think we pretty much had an explanation of what obviously is going on. And, of course, the council has approved the previous part of the development, so not to waste any time this evening, I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve 2016-04 annexation request, 100% of owners requesting annexation. Land lot 691, 17th District, 2nd Section, Cobb County, 0.6 acre tract at 4788 Hanson Drive, Smyrna, Georgia, Ward 7. Effective date, April 1st, 2016.
Second. I have a motion and a second to approve this annexation request. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please vote. That's approved 6-0 with Mr. Fennell being absent. Item C on the land issue zoners annexation is 2016-104. The final vote, zoning request Z15-012, annexation, rezoning, and zoning amendment for the construction of 200-unit independent senior housing development, 4.8 acre tract, land lot 691, 4840, and 4788 Hanson Drive, Creekside Village Development Group. That's the hearing. We had the hearing, item A. This is item C. Take the final vote. Mr. Doug Stoner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, Rusty, I think, was there anything else you needed to add to what you discussed earlier in the sense of this?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, at this point, Mr. Mayor, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion on 2016-104, the final vote for zoning request Z15-012, annexation, rezoning, and zoning amendment for the construction of a 200-unit independent senior housing development, 4.8 acre tract, land lot 691 at 4840 and 4788 Hanson Drive, Creekside Village Development Group Incorporated. So move on that.
And that's with the stipulations?
With the stipulations, yes.
All right, we have a motion and a second. And any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please vote.
I just lost my monitor.
Voting in process.
Thank you.
That's approved 6-0. Thank y'all very much, and thanks for being patient. Item 6 is formal business. A is CON 2016-0, approval for the City of Smyrna to continue as a subrecipient of the Cobb County CDBG program, and authorize the mayor to sign the 2016 subrecipient agreement documents. Mr. Jones, a background.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is an annual subrecipient agreement that we do with Cobb County for the Community Development Block Grant. It's referred here as CDBG. And this is an agreement that authorizes Cobb County to continue the administration of those funds to the City of Smyrna and includes reporting back to Housing and Urban Development on behalf of the city by the county. The city's preliminary funding amount for 2016 is $200,765, and that amount is subject to increase if HUD releases more funds to Cobb County. And our Assistant City Administrator, Tammy Sadler-Jones, who's worked very closely on the CDBG with our Assistant, Christiana Craddock, on this, has more information and is here to answer any questions council may have.
Good evening, everyone. Basically, you gave a very good background on this. I did want to share what our 2015 projects were in case you have an interest. Walking trail at Wolf Center, a manhole rehab on San Fernando Drive, replacement of playground equipment at Cobb Park, restroom and fence rehab at Cobb Park, fence rehab at Chuck Camp Park, planning and administration, and our code marshal is also funded out of the CDBG program. And again, these are for 2015, 2016. We have not determined those projects yet, but when we do, we'll make sure we communicate that to you. Okay. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them.
Anybody have any questions of Ms. Tammy Sadler-Jones?
Quick, Tammy, how much was it again last year?
Last year it was $291,000, and this year, as Mr. Jones mentioned, we've only been granted $200,765. So we do hope to hear from HUD in regards to an increase.
Good.
That's
Glad
about
to
a
hear.
$91,000 decrease
Right.
since last year.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tammy. That is under Mr. Doug Stoner.
Yep. Mr. Mayor, I'll go ahead and ask for approval and make a motion on CON 2016-02, approval for the City of Smyrna to continue as a subrecipient of the Cobb County CDBG program and authorize the mayor to sign the 2016 subrecipient agreement documents.
Second.
Motion and second to approve this CDBG funding. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please vote. Approved 6-0. Thank you very much. Item 7 is commercial building permits. We have none. Item 8 is consent agenda. Mr. Jones, will you please read the consent agenda for council's approval?
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, there are 8 items on the consent agenda. 5 of these have to do with our Public Works Department, and our Public Works Director, Scott Stokes, is here with us, and the final one has to do with our Community Relations Department, and Jennifer is still here if you have questions on those. And the 8 items are the approval of the March 7th Mayor and Council meeting minutes, the award of RFP 16-031 pipe burst process drainage rehab. It's an annual contract, and it's to the lowest bidder, Three Rivers Utility Rehab, LLC. The next item is an award of an RFP 16-030 to CIPP process drainage rehab. It's an annual contract to the lowest bidder, Cajun Construction and Rehab Services. The next item is RFP 16-032. That's for the Public Works Department at F-250 extended cab truck. The lowest responsive bidder was Wade Ford in the amount of $31,773. Next item is an RFQ 16-029. This is multi-departmental vehicles. There were 4 total, 2 Public Works vehicles, 1 in the IT department, and 1 in administration. And that bid went to the lowest bidder, Wade Ford, $86,702. The next item is RFP 16-027. This is for Glendale Place. That's the road that will run between South Cobb Drive and Old Concord. Goes to the lowest bidder, Shiv Construction, LLC, for $1,396,992.80. The next item is for approval of student affiliation agreement with Wellstar Health System. This is from our fire department to continue working and doing residency with Wellstar as part of their training. And lastly is approval of the Star 94.1 FM to produce and hold an event titled Wolfstock. It's an event that features the ability to bring your animals to the downtown, and that will be held in the Village Green and Smyrna Market Village on October 1st of 2016.
Here, motion we approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. In discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please vote. Approved 6-0. Committee reports will start tonight with Mr. Derek Norton.
I have no report this evening, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Andrea Bluestein.
Your Honor, I have no report this evening.
Ms. Terry Nulowich.
I do, yes. Just something real quick. Tomorrow night in this room here at City Hall, there is going to be an event that is sponsored by the Smyrna Vision Education Work Group and the Smyrna Wave of Excellence. It is going to feature several representatives from the Cobb County School District, including, of course, our school board member, Susan Thayer, who represents Post 2, but also Chris Ragdale, who is the Cobb County School District Superintendent, John Adams, his Deputy Superintendent, Mary Elizabeth Davis, the district's Chief Academic Officer, and Dr. Grant Rivera, who is the Chief Leadership and Learning Officer for Cobb County. It's here tomorrow night, Tuesday, March 22nd, from 6 until 7:30 p.m. With that, I yield.
Mr. Corky Welch.
I have no report this evening, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Susan Wilkinson.
I have no report. Thank you.
Mr. Doug Stoner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The only thing I'll report is remind folks that the city is going to be closed this coming Friday. And to remind everyone to check on their sanitation schedule so they don't forget to put out their trash on a different day. Otherwise, I have nothing else to report.
No, I think this, we do the, don't we do, Scott, you want to address that?
Yeah.
Our sanitation department does not honor, or doesn't.
It's not
they
honoring
work,
that?
They work
Okay.
Friday, so
Good Friday,
there's no
yeah.
change in our
Okay,
schedule.
I just want to make sure because actually I had some confusion on that. But I appreciate you correcting that.
Okay.
Otherwise, Mr. Mayor, I have nothing else to report.
All right. Mr. Jones, anything?
Nothing to report, sir.
Mr. Cochran? Ms. Graham? We have no show cause hearing. We have some folks that have signed up for citizens input. Alicia Newton, 2402 Park Creek Road, Marietta, Public Safety. Richard Petcha, 2667 Brown Circle, Sparta. Courtesy in returning the calls of your constituents and mowing your lawn, the cities. Richard, yeah, come up here, yeah. Richard hadn't been here in a while. It's your time.
Yeah, I was invited. I was told I was missed.
No.
It was good timing here, too. It's a nice night out. I just, first off, and it may or may not be applicable to some, and you can decide who's who, but when one takes a position here and you're elected, but you also are not forced to take this position. You say, I'm going to take this job, and this is in the council, and you're paid for it. And I might say that, I know it might be underpaid is a good word, but then if I interviewed or talked to all of the people on the planet and asked if they thought they were overpaid or underpaid, most would say they were underpaid. But part of, I think, the job is to just have the simple common courtesy to call your constituents back. I'd be embarrassed. I'd be shamed. I wouldn't even show myself if in my business and my personal life I couldn't call somebody back. So that being said, and the one thing, it's like, simple manners, responsibility of the job and everything, consideration. I think Tennyson said something like to paraphrase and everything like that. The greater the person, the greater courtesy. Well, and the opposite is the lesser the person, the lesser the courtesy. So off of that, now onto a piece of land that none of you here were even around when this piece of land was acquired by the city of Smyrna, except for the mayor. And it borders my property. By the way, I've been here 37 years in this house. And it borders two other properties on the end of Hickory Hill. And to say that I've taken care of it is not really proper. I've tried to keep it from encroaching on my property, the kudzu, the ivy, and all the other stuff, and now the stink bugs, which I was going to bring you in some because they're just hatching out right now, but I decided they'd get loose, you'd have a big problem here. So I've been like mowing a moat around to keep things across, but it's an open field. It is, in fact, it's more of an open field than exists in the park and exist across in the park on Powder Springs, the pond and everything there. And I spoke to a city employee about this, and I've spoken off and on every half decade or something. And by the way, when I say I take care of it, this has not been for a day, a week, a month, or a year, or a decade. This has been for a quarter century. And as I said, it's an open field right by the Google hut that's being put up. And so I spoke to somebody, and they said, by the way, very matter-of-factly, nicely, courteously and everything, but a matter-of-fact statement, you can't make the city do anything. And it was repeated 3 or 4 times to me. And I thought, well, that's right, that's okay, but I shouldn't have to make the city mow their lawn or anything like that. I shouldn't, as a neighbor, as whether you're within the city or as an employee or outside, you have courtesies and manners and civilities for others in their yards and so forth here. And so, and I thought, well, that's you wouldn't want that statement on your water bill. I mean, if that's the statement that the city makes and put on the top of it, you can't make the city do anything. So and the same with Smyrna Clean and Beautiful. There should be no Smyrna Clean and Beautiful. If they looked at that property for all these years, they'd take back some of the rewards, whoever gave the awards. But it was mowed starting 5 years ago. And what happened is some of the other people on the end of the street called on it and so forth there, and the fine landscaping people came in and mowed it. And that's the way to kill the kudzu. It's beautiful now. It's a beautiful open field, untreed, more untreed than anything on the park. Then they brought in one of the other mowers that just tears things up and everything. But now, and the fine landscaping people did it last year. And I'm tired, by the way, of doing it. I've had, won't go histrionic, but 11 surgeries and dozens of procedures in life, and I'm just too pooped to keep it anymore. Okay. This property, it was mowed for 5 years. It should be mowed plain and simple. And the Google Hut's going up. It's blocking anybody getting there down there now.
I appreciate your comments, and we're limited to, I'll let you go over a little bit. So
I'd like to add something. With apologies to Tennyson, it's better to have called and gotten a busy signal than to never have called at all.
But we will.
And I have tried to call you back, and I have gotten a busy signal.
You haven't called back. You haven't even called back to even where I could see that you called back. And I've called 4 or 5, 6 times and everything here. So
I got a busy signal as recently as this afternoon.
And did you try again?
No, because then I was in the car picking up my child.
I wanted to discuss this just as we adjourn.
But Richard, I know that you met with someone from the city, and that's what I was calling to find out if it was to your satisfaction. Obviously, it was not. So let's talk again tomorrow.
They want to spray poison all over the place.
Thank you.
All right.
Haroon Walkie at 6150 South Glen Forest, Mableton, Georgia. The betterment of our community. Is that person here? Gary Pelfrey, is that right? 830 Valley Mead Drive, Marietta. Cover up.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, that's correct.
Okay, if you'll step forward.
You did very well with my name. Thank you. I will try my best not to use 3 minutes this late at night. I came here to talk about a vehicle chase during rush hour on March the 23rd along Spring Road and Atlanta Road, and I've already talked with Mr. Jones and Scott Cochran about it, and I expect that they will forward to you any comments they think you need. We are 2 days away from celebrating, if that's a word, the death of Nicholas Thomas. And what I would like to say in the last 2 minutes I have here is that first, I spent a great deal of my time swearing to protect the flag and the Constitution of our country. I've been interrupted in prayer twice, and both times that's been here. One of the things I tried to defend was the notion that we have a freedom of religion here. And if someone starts a prayer, the crowd gets to finish the prayer, however long that may take. I have no idea how the young lady finished her prayer tonight, but it was not just rude, it was unconstitutional for this group to interrupt her. And as a former member of the military, I resent the notion that you did it with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. But my principal message here tonight is to tell you that on the 23rd of March last year, one of your employees engaged in a vehicle pursuit in the middle of rush hour, endangering Lord knows how many people. We don't know yet if he did it with a siren on or off. We do know that he had absolutely no just cause for it. But the real crime here is that his supervisor knew all this and did not criticize him on it, did not point him to Chapter 12-2 of the Smyrna Policy Manual saying you can't do that. What's more, he encouraged him. He did not review this young man, this young officer who was trying his best to do what he could. He did not review the young man's research, which was terribly faulty, and he did in fact encourage the young man to go over the next day and engage in a paramilitary operation which resulted in the killing of one of our citizens. What I wanted to talk about, and the message I'd like for you to get in the last 24 seconds, is I saw 24 police officers here tonight. All good men, and some good women there too. I have no reason to suspect that any of them are anything but as noble as any of us in this room. But what they were taught by the Nicholas Thomas thing is if you want to get promoted from sergeant to lieutenant, go kill somebody. That's not a good lesson for these officers to be learning, sir. They don't know how to get promoted right now, other than to kill someone. Thank you very much. Any questions? I'll be happy to answer.
We're good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Unless there's any other business to be brought before this body, then I declare this meeting adjourned at, it looks like about 9:28. Hear ye.
They say, what they tell you.